Today we have the pleasure of meeting with Dr. Wing Ng, who is currently running for the Wake County School Board. Let's get started with it.
All
So
right.
my first question is, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and what motivated you to run for the school board?
Yes. Yeah. I'm a physician here in Raleigh for the last 19 years. I have a wife and two children. Uh, One of them has Down syndrome. And The reason I ran 2 years ago was that I felt like our the parents' voices were not heard uh, because of the time during COVID period when the schools were shut down and the kids were not having a good experience learning remotely. And so they really wanted to go back to school, but the school system was very slow at returning to the classroom. And there were other issues as well where the parents felt like they weren't heard, and so that's how kind of what motivated me to join in the advocacy of trying to get the greater voice for the parents.
I see. That's great. So if you were to win the election for the Wake County School Board, what would your thoughts be for the future of the Wake County School?
Well, I mean, I think the things that need to be looked at is first of all, the academic um, and making sure that our schools are providing the best academic teaching for the children of Wake County, and making sure that they have um, the best options in terms of um, things beyond academics. So, meaning that some of the things that people like to do, like sports, although that's not our primary focus, but it help to improve the education experience for their students. And we want to look at some of the things that have been we've been working dealing with, which is some of the disciplinary issues that we have been um, trying to handle better. I think COVID, uh, the time that the children were away from a group setting in school has done some uh, uh, harm to their development in terms of social development. So there's a lot of things that we need to kind of catch up on, and I think try the school is an ancillary way to help with the kids' social and emotional development. I think parents ultimately are the ones to guide that, but the schools are there to help.
Mhm. And so if you could do one thing to help the students get more social and get back into that group setting, what would it be?
Well, I think um, you know the time that they have in school, they have plenty of time in the classroom. But I think that it is understanding how to work with people, and kind of that communication process. So people um, have been kind of used to the children have been used to the social media type of communication where it's very much one-sided, and we really need to foster a communication that is kind of face to face. People cannot be always on the cell phone, and really learning to listen to each other, kind of like what I was saying in the beginning, where I try to listen to my people, and so students really also have to be able to listen to each other, so that it's really a real interaction, not just a
Mhm.
kind of a social media type of interaction.
Okay, all right, great. And then so this question is about what motivates you to do your work.
Well, I think what motivates me is helping people, go through some of the difficulties that they face in the school. So, a lot of times parents come to me through email, detailing some of their children's concerns, problems that they face in school, or other things that concerns them, and my role is to try to help to direct them in the right path to find the solution. And so, I find great satisfaction in getting problems dealt with. One of the example this recently was to a couple of parents whose child has transportation needs, and I was able to provide a solution for them so that the child can continue to get bus transportation to the school.
Okay, that's amazing. Can you walk me through some of your experiences with campaigning, and then if there's like any sort of tips or tricks that you use to sort of get the edge on the opponent?
Sure. Yeah, I think you know, campaigning starts with understanding people, and for me, before I decided I wanted to run for the school board, I had already been involved in some local groups that are political organizational groups, clubs, things like that, so that I was already networking with people just out of I just love to be with those people, and so I was networking with them. And so when I did decide to run, I was not an unknown figure. People
Hmm.
already knew me, and in fact, people say, "Hey, I'm very happy for you. Can I do anything to help?" And
Hmm.
so, if you go in as an unknown entity, and you don't have a familiarity with the people or with the community, it makes it harder to get some traction in a campaign. So that was I felt like that was my advantage, was that I already knew a lot of the people that would eventually come beside me to help me, and so that was very helpful. And then also, that networking allowed me to uh, find out, people who I can solicit for donations to help with the cost of running a campaign. And so, all those networking part of it is important in the beginning. And so, I mean, this is just my experience. There are other people can probably do a good job in other ways, but that was kind of the foundation of my success, I think.
Hmm. So, some of the next questions I have are about the future. So this one is about what your goals or plans are for this upcoming year.
Well, I mean, if I am able to stay on the school board, I think that the things that I want to look at is how to better utilize our precious financial resources in the school system, because during the COVID period, the federal government gave all schools a COVID relief money,
Mm.
which has since by now is mostly exhausted.
Oh.
And so the school systems in all across the country have to find a way to continue functioning without that supplemental money. And so, that'll be a big task of trying to figure out how to uh, be more efficient with the use of our resources. And then secondly, work trying to help with some of the I'm sorry, the student population that are most precious to me, and which is the special needs population,
Mm.
because of my child does have a Down syndrome. I see a lot of the more pressing needs in terms of special education in the public school system. So that'll be another thing that I want to continue to work on.
Uh-huh. And then, so my next question is, how do you plan to support the future generations of the kids going to school?
Well, I mean, it's a big task, obviously, and I think for me, the number one thing is greater parent involvement. I think uh, you know we I cannot presume that schools are the place to um, teach the kids how they're supposed to be as human beings. And it is the parents' role to do that. And the parents also have an vested interest that their children get a great education.
Yeah.
And so, that cooperation, that communication between the school system and the parents is vital. And so, that's something that I'm going to try to continue to improve on, so that the kids will get the best education possible.
Mhm. And then that was the last question, but is there anything else that you would like to mention that we did not cover yet?
Um, I think that for anyone who wants to go into this kind of political or just community uh, service role,
Yeah.
I think that the first thing that people want to do is be within the community, and understand your community. And you need to hear what the community is what they're doing, what their needs are, before you can go in and make some change, because it's it's not so much your change that you want to implement. It is the change that the community needs. And so that's the first thing I think anybody who wants to be in this kind of role is to understand the community and not just drive your own agenda.
Mhm.